The first words she said to him were, "I'm not mad at you." And the last thing he said to her was, as her corpse drove away with 3 of his bullets in her goddamn face. That's how you frame this thing. That's the new angle. How many murder angles do you need to see? How many more?
What happens to Renee Good in Minneapolis is very unfortunate. Literally nobody deserves to die like that. Even though I'm in Nigeria, the news is everywhere. It's on our social media pages, it's on our FYPs. Everybody's talking about it. So I have been following the conversation about the situation. And I'm seeing some Black people, well, a good number of Black people say things like, so they don't even care about their fellow white people. They are saying that's how you know it's bad, basically. If they can do that to her, that it's basically over for every other person that isn't white. Like this video, for example.
If a white woman can get shot in the face by basically executive order, we are done for. We are done for.
But the thing is, white supremacy has never cared about white people. The everyday white person has always been expendable when it comes to white supremacy. See, people don't understand that white supremacy is like a virus. You know what, scratch that. It's not like, it is a virus. One that after it had contaminated them, they start harming their own first before they even start harming any other person. And all across European history, you see this fact. Before they even went out to harm, colonize, enslave any other group of people, they did that to themselves first in Europe. And the rule of white supremacy is pretty simple. It's either you are down with the cause or you're out of here. And that is why you would find in European history that anything or anyone that did not fall within the line, the very stiff and narrow line of what white supremacy was requiring for them to fall within, for them to be part of the club, they either got exterminated, hence why, witches got unalive, for one, or they got stripped first from or of the things that were like the polar opposites of white supremacy's recommendations or requirements. The Irish, for example, they were not always white. These people had to go through a lot to get the whiteness badge. They had to strip their languages, their spiritual practices, their cultures, basically their heritage off first and follow a very strict regimen before they could get welcomed into the club.
Colonialism doesn't just take your land, it takes your mind as well. And the British Empire had a clear strategy on this one. Force and enforce English and make people ashamed of their culture and their language. 2 tactics. With British colonial power, there's always the same 2 tactics, right? You've got your hard power, so hard enforcements, the rules, the punishments, the laws, the brutality. And then the soft power, which is often forgotten about, which is the psychological manipulation and the propaganda. And a lot of internalized shame. And it worked. Generations of Irish and other Celtic and other nations across the world grew up thinking that their own language wasn't valuable. This is exactly what happened in my family. The British didn't do that just to the Irish, though. In Wales, children caught speaking Welsh in school had to wear this lovely plaque that said Wales not for the whole day. And if by the end of the day the child had still this around their neck, they'd take a beating. This made Welsh children terrified to speak their own language. The internalized shame of being beaten every time you use your language.
You are only valid to white supremacy as long as you continue to be of use to white supremacy, as long as you continue to make yourself available as a pawn for white supremacy to get to their end goal. The moment you decide to veer off of that, now you become to them just like them other black and or brown people. These are just my theories, right? But I think that is what is happening with Renee Good. When you see how they are reacting to her murder, right? They basically are saying she deserved it. Why? Because when you look at the woman, she was a queer woman, right? She's a single mother in a relationship with a woman. These are things that white supremacy don't stand for. These are things that they are anti. These are things that would not get them to their end goal. Renee Good, being the woman that she is, even though she's a white woman, is someone that they would not be able to use in the system of white supremacy. And that is why when you look at how they are reacting to her murder, to her death.
Just in case you need a reminder of how absolutely foul and unhinged these people are, she, her literally every time. This is Laura Loomer's response to a mother having her life taken by ICE because she has pronouns listed in her bio.
Really, you punk? That's what you're gonna do?
What?
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 What? Do you know what the is that is for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
You're gonna push me? What is that for?
Back up.
What was that
I don't
for?
give
You don't give a about her?
up.
Bro.
And you compare it to how they reacted when Charlie Kirk was unalived, day and night. To them, Charlie Kirk was very useful. He was someone that championed white supremacy. He was a useful pawn in the system of white supremacy. So to them, they lost a good soldier. But when you look at Renee Good, they don't feel the same way because she wasn't championing their cause, not in how she lived in her private life, and apparently not when it comes to where she stands politically, because I saw somewhere that they are saying allegedly that she was a Democrat, right? So to these people, to white supremacy, they're like,
and all you liberal commie put your hands to yourself or you're gonna get hurt today, all right? We executed one of you yesterday.
Some years back, I saw someone call white supremacy a death cult. Back then, I did not know what they meant. But now, years later, after I've gathered more knowledge and read, I now see what this person meant. These people literally don't care who they have to get rid of to get to their end goal. They don't even care if they have to get rid of themselves trying. They are going to. It's a death cult.
And they're trying to get everybody riled up, everybody up in arms. Don't fall for the bait, man. That's exactly what they want. They want you to go out in the streets and unalive ICE agents. That's what they want. They want to enact martial law so bad and blame it on black and brown people so bad that they're willing to take out their own women to make a statement, to do so.
And I also see some people being shocked. They cannot believe that they did that to a white woman. See, guys, white supremacy, white men have never cared about white women. I said it. They've never. These people only see, if you really pay attention to what's going on here, they only see white women as a tool to get more white people. That's what they see them as like some kind of breeding mare or something. And this is not me saying that white women are breeding mare. I'm saying that that's how they see them. I mean, if the viral videos are not enough for you to know how they truly feel about their women, with them giving them dog food for lunch.
We have a bag of dog food because you're my dog.
And making them scrub toilet floor when they are heavily pregnant.
In 3 days, she'll be 39 weeks. She's on her hands and knees cleaning our shower.
Somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
Then maybe the FBA crime record star Skinny will, that shows how they treat their women, how they unalive them. And the kids too. Let's not forget the kids, because that's something they do. They just get rid of entire families, which I don't know what's wrong with the people, guys. I really don't know.
One of the most dangerous places for white people is within a white family. You see this man right here? He's one of the many white men that would be considered a family annihilator. A family annihilator is an individual, usually a white male, that takes the life of multiple members of their family. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. These family annihilators usually have a history of domestic violence or some form of abuse within their family. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. There have been many studies on the profile of these family annihilators. Some of the common characteristics of these family annihilators is that they are overwhelmingly male, little to no criminal history, and white. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. Psychologists say the main motivation for these family annihilators is a high sense of self-righteousness. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. If we're going to talk about black on black crime and violence, then we would be remiss if we did not talk about white on white violence and crime. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. To the Caucasian community out there, the call is coming from inside the house, literally. And instead of focusing so much on blacks and Hispanics and the problems that we have within our families and communities, it would behoove you to police your own community and keep a watchful eye over your own families. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. Everyone in this photo is no longer here. Every last one of them in this photo is no longer here. These are Asian children that were adopted by this white couple, and everyone in this photo no longer here. This photo as well, this entire family gone. And I could keep going, but I think you get the point.
I watched True Crime, guys. Big eye opener. And if that one doesn't do it, they made sure that they have a lot of conversations back to back to back, where they are constantly talking about how they want their women back in the kitchen, basically. Constantly talking about how they need to take their rights back. You want to tell me that these are women that they love? No, they don't.
Let me give some examples in historical context. Viola Luso, let's start off. A lot of people don't know about Viola Luso. Viola Luso was a civil rights activist, a white woman, a white civil rights activist who helped during Martin Luther King times, help black people, transport them to go get them votes, help them go get their votes, woo. Somehow or another, Triple K found her on the highway, I want to say Route 66, I forgot what state it was, with a black guy. She was transporting him, getting him to the, to go vote. Somehow Triple K found her, took her life. They thought they took the black guy's life, he played dead. So they just left him there. They left Viola Luso, a white lady, there to rot. Now guess who was with the Triple K when this happened? An FBI agent. Yeah. Saw the whole thing played out, right? Viola Luso's family, white husband, white children, all had to literally flee for their lives because their town was coming for them. Because Viola Luso had a heart, had a soul, and seen everybody as equal because she wanted to help people. What did the government do? Not much at all. In fact, her entire thing was ignored, which is why you don't really know anything about Viola Luso. That is for a reasoning. And may I add, Herbert Hoover, President Hoover, not only did he ignore this, but he also, Viola Luso, he put a lot of bad stuff, made bad comments about Viola Luso before her death. I want to say before or after. I can't remember, but you get the point. Secondly, D.C. Stevenson, another hidden history of story in America. D.C. Stevenson and Mage Oblicosa, something like that. D.C. Stevenson was a Grand Dragon of Illinois. Triple K guy, big leader, big influencer. Oh, protect the white race, protect white women, protect white women. Yet, when it comes to Mage, that wasn't the case. Who was a white woman, by the way? I made a story about this a while back. He kidnapped Mage, he SA'd Mage, and then he ended up giving her a staph infection by biting on her breasts, which gave her the staph infection, which she could have been saved, but instead, because she didn't want to marry him, after all he did with all that, he let her just die, right? That entire incident caused the Triple K to fall hard. They've been having issues like that, but that one incident with the Grand Dragon caused the Triple K to fall. Now, guess who brought them back to life? Woodrow Wilson, the president, Woodrow Wilson himself. He brought them back to life, totally dismissing the fact that a white lady got her life taken by a white man who was of white supremacy, right? And she was just at work. That's it. It had nothing to do with him. And if you did not know, yes, Woodrow Wilson was a sympathizer and very much idolized the Triple K and Confederacy. Very much loved them. Or let's go for something that's more recent. The Epstein files. Who are the victims of the Epstein files? White girls who are now white women. Safety. Whoa, right? Like, just think about that for a second. Seriously.
I'm going to come out and say it. The narrative of white women are protected and loved by white men, white supremacy kini, is a propaganda. I said it. It's a propaganda. I don't care. It's a propaganda to create this illusion of perfection that they have going on. Because see, action speaks louder than words. So let's look at the actions. That's all I'm saying. And it is a delusion that too many of them have bought into that stops them from seeing the reality of what is right in front of their eyes. Hence why they think that their enemies are black and brown people. So they stay beefing and fighting with black and brown people and ignoring the true source and cause of their problems. And that's where white privilege comes in as well, because this is also something that white supremacy created, right? So keep these people in that bubble so they will think that everything is fine. You are in the perfect place, but they are getting eaten up by their own people, but they would never see it because they are so focused on looking at every other person but their own people and the system that they have created that is harming them. And it's crazy that it had to take Renee Good dying the way she did for them to actually start waking up to the reality of what's going on here, for them to start paying attention even. Because other people, black people, Hispanic people have been dying at the hands of ICE still.
And while we're talking about it, Renee Nicole Good is not the first person to be unalived by ICE. Keith Porter Jr. was unalived on New Year's Eve by an off-duty ICE agent in LA. Silvario Villegas Gonzalez was unalived in a traffic stop by an ICE agent near Chicago. And yet the one that gets the most media attention is the white woman. And yet her whiteness was not enough to protect her from being unalived by the ICE Popsicle gang member. Jenry Ruiz Gullion, a Honduran man who died in ICE custody. Sarawit Dijin, a Ethiopian who died in ICE custody. Brian Garzon Rayo, a Colombian man who died in ICE custody. Pete Samalo Montejo, a Filipino national, died in ICE custody. Chao Fengyi, Chinese detainee, died in ICE custody. Shiraz Fatahali Shiwani, Pakistani detainee, died in ICE custody. Fuhad Sadin Al-Dukahir, Eritrean detainee, died in ICE custody. Jean Wilson Brutus, Haitian detainee, died in ICE custody. Nenko Stanevganchev, Bulgarian detainee, died in ICE custody. Leo Cruz Silva, Mexican detainee, died in ICE custody. Every single one of their names deserve to be said. Every single one of their stories deserve to be told. They should all be getting the equal amount of attention that Renee Nicole Good is getting. One story is not more important than the other. One person's life was not more important than the other. They all deserve to be heard, seen, their stories shared, and justice given to their families. And this also needs to be a pivotal turning point so that y'all understand it's not just us. They're coming for you too. If this doesn't make you angry because those other people being unalived did not, may this be the thing that radicalizes you.
Even though for the longest of time now, if you have been paying attention like I have, you would know that black people in America have been warning these people, telling them that eventually the Casala will reach their own doorstep.
When they get done with us, they're coming from you, for you, and all your interracial children. Y'all are next. And you'll be standing up here fighting for justice just as well as I am. I am so disappointed in the state of Minnesota.
They thought their whiteness is all that they needed to be forever going through life unscathed by white supremacy. Now, shocker. Because this is not, it's never been about race. Never. And the sooner y'all can collectively come to this realization, the better for everybody. And then there's the fact that these people want us to believe that the ICE agent who killed Renee Good was scared and he did it in self-defense, as if we all did not see the video of how it happened. Hell, I even saw a video this morning of a creator on TikTok that broke down exactly, the movement, his movement around the vehicle before he finally went to the front of her car and pulled the trigger.
No, I think this is what I think. I think Jonathan Ross got out of his car. He was filming and wanted to take evidence of whatever was happening here. Then as he approaches Renee,
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad.
not only is she not trying to agitate or aggravate the situation, she's actually trying to de-escalate the situation. Then Jonathan Ross goes to the back of the car where he encounters Renee's wife. There's something in this part of the footage that I think is important to note. See here, you can see in the reflection of the car, his phone is in his right hand. Then as he's filling the license plate, he encounters Renee's wife. And big, strong Jonathan does not like what she has to say.
It'll be the same fight when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead. Out the car.
Did you catch that? While they're having their exchange, he walks further around the car, and then he does this. He switches the phone from his right hand to his left hand, because what side of his body is his firearm on? See, he was ready. He switched his phone from his right hand to his left hand so his right hand could be ready. This was before the car was moving, because Renee only started driving forward once this guy started pulling on her door trying to open it. But Jonathan Ross already had his gun unholstered. I mean, what does that tell you? Here's what I think. I don't think Jonathan liked that these two women were getting in his way. I don't think that he liked that these two women were emasculating him and making him feel small. Go get a sandwich, big boy. He doesn't like that feeling. He's the big strong man. And how dare these make him feel like that? And is anyone shocked that these ICE agents are not only racist, but they're also misogynists? He didn't like that these women were standing up to him. He didn't like that they were in his way. You can even hear it after he puts 3 bullets in Renee's face. He says this. He doesn't care that the woman that he just shot 3 times was dead or alive, but he made sure that he called her a fucking bitch. And again, her tires were to the right. His body was to the left. If she wanted to run him over, she would have gone straight. I'm no forensics expert. I'm no crime scene investigator, but I'm seeing what I saw.
He was so scared, but he could not leave the scene. The ICE agent shot him, and his family has gotten exposed. I even saw a picture of him and his wife, and that's presently circulating the internet at the moment. There's even a conversation going on about that because the wife is an immigrant. So, of course, people are saying things like, you can't make this ish up. It's always, how is it that every single time it plays out this way? My condolences to Renee Good and her family, her son. It's just very sad. Like, none of this should have happened. The entire situation it's just so pointless, as it always is, which is crazy. Like, it just literally starts, and so many sad news, so many issues.
For a physician to be standing there screaming, please can I check a pulse? I'm a doctor. And for you to say, no, I don't care. Then to say, we have our own medics. And the lady even says, where are they? While the lady bleeds out and dies. I've always liked my water warm. F you.
Renee Nicole Good, 37, queer white woman who was killed by the ICE agent today in Minneapolis. And I want to talk about white grief. And I typically don't talk to white people directly, but today in this video I am. I am because these aren't images we often see. And I'm seeing a certain type of grief from white people because epigenetically, the way your nervous system is built, the trauma that is embedded in your blood, in your genes, through your ancestors, you were not used to seeing people who could look like you experience violence like that. You're not used to seeing someone who could look like your sister, your cousin, your daughter, your mother experience violence like that. So it is hitting your nervous system in a different way than it would to see a black person, a brown person, or someone who looks like they could be an undocumented immigrant. It's hitting your nervous system different. And to that I say, good. It needs to. Use it. Because the shifts and changes needed to happen depend on y'all's nervous system shifting and changing. Your grief needs to catch up to our grief. I'm imploring you to use the grief and catch up to the grief that the rest of us have not only experienced and felt, but been inherited into. The grief that was in the wombs that we were conceived in. The grief of our mothers, our grandmothers, our fathers, our great-grandfathers. Their grief. What were your great-grandfathers doing? What were your forefathers doing? They created you. They, the ones who hung us from trees. They who enslaved us and whipped us. They who used our body parts to make furniture, to make teeth for them, dentures. They who maybe were against all of that, but just wrote on pamphlets, that just stood on the street. Their epigenetic, spiritual DNA is not predispositioned to be able to see and understand that you could be the victim of violence like this. So it needs to shake your nervous system. You need to change on a cellular, genetic level. There's this musical that I saw off-Broadway recently in Exodus, where in the middle, of the musical, a question is asked to the audience, is what have you done with the days that your ancestors have earned you? What are the days that your ancestors have earned you? Who are your ancestors, white people? They traded in their culture, their customs, their norms for white supremacy and whiteness. The white people who do not subscribe to whiteness and white supremacy in the way that other white people want them to do, those white people will take them out because they expect you to subscribe to the white privilege that you were predestined to have. You were inherited in that. You were inherited into white privilege whether or not you want it, and they expect you to stick with that status quo because that was your ancestors' wildest dream for you. So what are you going to do with the grief that you're feeling, the white grief that you're feeling, the grief that the rest of us are so very much used to?
I just want to quickly come on here and share these few thoughts of mine on the situation, but I want to hear what you guys think though. So let's continue conversation in the comment section. I'll be catching you guys in the next one.